myself short today. Feels like I fell 1,000 times. Nothing but doubt to flood my mind. 'Cause sometimes it's hard to remember why I ever started racing with my dreams. A restless December, feeling I was meant for more than I believed. I'll never surrender, rather try and fail and fall 1,000,000 times. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I know as close as I am now, I will struggle, I will shout. There's no stopping, there's no doubt. I'm on my way. There's no stopping, there's no doubt. I'm on my way. I swear I meant to do this. I'm told that love would never lie. Where my head has met my heart and they are beautifully aligned. But sometimes it's hard to remember everything I've done that's brought me to this space. I started with embers, now a raging fire is burning in its place. I'll never surrender, rather try and fail and fall 1,000,000 times. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I know as close as I am now, I will struggle, I will shout. There's no stopping, there's no doubt. I'm on my way. There's no stopping, there's no doubt. I'm on my way. I know as close as I am now, I'm on my way.
You know what one of the best things is about being a night shift guy? You get to say TGIF in the wee hours of the morning on Friday on this schedule that I'm on. You know what one of the worst things about being a night shift guy is? Having to be the bearer of bad news that it's Monday again in the wee hours of the morning on a Monday. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay. Don't know how much streaming I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future or anything of that sort, because there's a lot going on offline. As much as I'm probably going to be able to get out of work early most nights for the foreseeable future because it's the slow season, I also have to set alarms more than I usually do. I have to get up early more than I usually do, and it's just it's annoying because stuff's going on right when I should be enjoying more free time and stuff, and right when there's all kinds of other stuff going on as well. I mean, I've got stuff over here that's new in the box and new in the bag. HDMI cables rated up to 8K, untouched. Lavalier microphone to experiment with, untouched. There's also another shotgun microphone, untouched as well. because of the stuff that's been going on. Some of this is tied to, of course, the event going on in ESO, Heroes Reforged. So after I get done with this discussion tonight, I'm going to fire up ESO off stream and do some stuff there. Why don't you stream it on Twitch? Well, we've gone through all the main characters on Twitch. In terms of progression for in-game stuff, I think that at this point, we really should just save that for after the event and after some of the other stuff that's going on that requires me to make videos, because I'm at a situation now where there is stuff sitting around not getting done simply because I want to make a YouTube video about it. And quite frankly, one of the hallmark features of 2021 for me is going to be finding this balance between streaming and videos, because quite frankly, I did the Twitch thing last year. I know that the overemphasis on live is highly unhealthy over on Twitch. It affects how people view live streaming, and people have certain views on live streaming specifically because of this. But at the very same time, you know, people have the views they have, I think, largely because of the power of Twitch's marketing. If you come over to YouTube and do some YouTube streaming, it's a completely different environment, a completely different focus, and I dare say it needs to be a completely different format with the streaming that you do, because every single stream that you do doubles as a YouTube video after the extended processing is done and can be edited into YouTube videos because of, you know, the robust, very robust cloud editor that YouTube has, which is more precise than Twitch is. And the fun part is you can do all kinds of stuff. You can edit it, you can edit a stream into multiple videos completely in the cloud without having to touch a video editor. So if you think that a discussion if you design your stream correctly, it can be cut up completely in the crowd. It can be cut up completely in the cloud and converted into something that you can turn into a video very, very easily. It's really fun stuff to do, and it breaks the mold that a lot of Twitch streamers think of when it comes to streaming. So tonight we're going to talk about parasocial relationships, kind of my answer to Asmongold's recent discussion in his YouTube video on his Zach Rohr channel. A lot of times when people talk about parasocial relationships, they talk about viewers. Specifically, people watching a streamer or people watching a YouTuber or something and developing that one-way relationship where they know the person they're watching a heck of a lot better than the person that they're watching knows them. It's one of the side effects of the platform, one of the side effects of the communication. The internet allows for some form of communication, unlike television, where it was 100% one-sided, but many of the problems still remain. Keep the drinks ready. Indeed. Many of the problems still remain when it comes to the internet and parasocial relationships. But what people don't want to talk about, at least from what I've been seeing from people's videos on the subject matter, is the other direction. It is extremely important that content creators realize they have a parasocial relationship with their fan base and audience as well. It is extremely important, and that's why I want to talk about some of this tonight, because there's a problem right now with a couple of there's a situation where you cannot have your audience or even your fan base as a content creator replace offline friends and people helping you in the offline world. And one of the reasons why you have to remember this is that as a content creator, literally everything that you do is second guessable because of the nature of what you're trying to do by making videos or streaming. Literally everything you do is second guessable as a content creator. So you are not in the same position in terms of getting people to take you seriously on stuff or lots of other things because you make YouTube videos and because you stream. You are not in the same position. Oh, cool. The Google speakers have a reminder from me. It's probably something, yeah, there's a bill I wanted to pay, but I already paid it. So yeah, we're in Google speakers, whatever. So here's the situation with all of this. A lot of people talk about parasocial relationships in terms of watching streamers or watching YouTubers. It goes the other way too. It's extremely important that you maintain offline friends that won't be second guessing your every move because you're a content creator, or won't be prone to second guessing your every move because you are a content creator. We will be getting into that as we head into this wild card week, where, you know, despite it being all quiet and stuff, I have to set more alarms than usual despite everything that's going on. Let's get some music going, shall we? There we go. Check our levels, make sure that they're close enough together, and get everything correct through the headset and the microphone. So we're going to talk about parasocial relationships, but before we get into what we want to talk about, what it is, let's talk about what it is not. Beginning with a tweet that I posted. Now, I was being a complete smartass when I posted this tweet. Get OBS over to screen 2 here. I was being a total smartass when I posted this tweet that I pinned on my Twitter about 10 hours ago. And it's this. This will be my only tweet for a bit because it's a doozy. Be skeptical of stuck-up streamers who keep well-Streisanded drama at arm's length so they can play it at their convenience to drum up concurrence on demand. We're going to talk a little bit about what this is and why I was inspired to write this. But first, let's talk about what it's not. Let's talk about what it's not. People who follow the streamers that I follow, I woke up today and I knew something had happened because of numbers and other stuff that I was seeing. But there is an incident involving Ginny TTY and Kiara Kitty and the whole drama that Ginny's been dealing with. You could technically say that it looks like she kept the drama at arm's length so she could play the card, so to speak, to get concurrence. But that's not the reason why we're having this discussion tonight. The situation with Ginny is pretty much well established at this point. I've said enough with regards to it. It's really up to her right now to make the right decisions that she needs to make in order to move forward from this without alienating a huge chunk of her audience in the process. To recap, my top concern with what she's gone through with this, people overanalyzing her private life and stuff, is this whole thing where people who are not malicious get caught in the crossfire. There's people on the internet that are doing what people on the internet like to do, being jerks, having way too much free time on their hands, and all kinds of other stuff. There are people out there that are malicious. And it's perfectly fine to address them as they start trolling. But when I hear about, for example, subscribers and supporters getting banned because they asked the wrong question in chat at the wrong time, that's a problem. And now we have a fellow streamer who's been caught in the crossfire, so to speak. So Kiara still has the VOD. I think Ginny still does too. We'll see what happened with all that later. I only know the highlighted bits, but I want to see the good part of the discussion that these IRL streamers wanted to collab with each other. I want to see the good parts, they call them, not just the bad parts. The real loser in all of this is going to be LSF, because I think LSF has no credibility, and we're just waiting for LSF to be rendered obsolete by YouTube. This is something I ran into with some of the stuff earlier. People were questioning LSF because streamers have a direct private Discord channel to the LSF administrators, and they can challenge what goes to LSF. For those who know what LSF is, it means live stream fail. It's a subreddit that is infamous for being like Fail Army or Fail Blog or something for streamers. Or at least that's what it looks like. So LSF, they've had their ups and downs over the years, but it's kind of the place where, haha, you get made fun of, but people learn about you there, so there's no such thing as bad publicity, and they'll show, like, goofy moments from streams and stuff. The problem is, there's been a lot of toxicity over on LSF. They've had to revamp themselves multiple times. In the most recent example, they actually added a harassment rule, which makes zero sense given that LSF is, like, inches from being streamer TMZ. So that's the kind of reputation they've built for themselves. So to suddenly have a harassment rule makes no sense. Then there's questions about whether LSF moderators are in the back pockets of some of the biggest streamers out there, so LSF doesn't really do what it's supposed to do anyways, because there's too much meddling from streamers. I've certainly seen some of that with some of the drama that I've dealt with recently. Or encountered recently. Not like I was directly involved in it. Just something that I've been trying to learn from as a nerd. But anyways, the thing with LSF is that what LSF is known for, goofball stream stuff and things like that, is being rendered obsolete by YouTube clip channels. I mentioned this earlier with regards to some of this drama. YouTube clip channels are the new LSF. I mean, LSF can try to reform itself all they want. All they're going to do is accelerate their obsolescence. Because it's the YouTube clip channels, the independent YouTube clip channels, that are going to turn into the new LSF. No moderators, no nothing, just maybe YouTube might do something if it gets flagged or something. But the big thing with these clip channels, they're basically fly-by-nights, taking best of Twitch, Twitch drama, Pepe laugh, whatever it is. It's not really, there's not really a trail towards like individuals that can be banned from the platform that can be associated with these accounts. And there's a YouTube issue too when it comes to these clip channels. What that YouTube issue is, just make sure the counter's working right. Good. What that YouTube issue is this idea. The issue with these clip channels is that because they're doing like top Twitch clips and stuff like that, they are prone to channel-wide demonetization due to reused content. So you'll have somebody trying to monetize like clips and stuff. Now, if they don't want monetization, they'll keep the channel, but if they get demonetized because they're not adding enough original value or whatever, they're not transforming the content enough, and their channel mostly consists of other people's stuff, even if it's like a best of type thing. I mean, even channels like Fail Army and stuff, they add production stuff and end screens and things like that to kind of make their funniest videos stuff their own, despite, you know, it still being the clips are still the property of the original people that recorded them. But with these clip channels, it's literally just, they might put an end screen on at the end, but if they trip channel-wide demonetization for too much reused content, then what this means is that you could have clip channels that are very popular that have been demonetized that aren't being updated anymore. And so there's Twitch clips going viral. There's Twitch clips that are going viral, but the streamers can't do anything about these channels because they're pretty much not being updated anymore. The person who did it might have moved on, maybe even made a different email address to make themselves look like different people in case a channel were terminated or something. Because of the, you know, thing about you can't have another YouTube channel if your channel gets shut down. So I think it's basically going to turn into a game of whack-a-mole as more of these channels start sending stuff into the algorithm and getting recommended by the algorithm. Because one of the things about YouTube right now is that the age of the pastiche has arrived on YouTube. I've seen, for example, an uptick in my Ashen's pastiches with the sofa reviews, and a lot of the people that are finding them are people that watch Ashen's. So I get a couple of people that still make fun of me for being an Ashen's ripoff or something, even though I openly joke about being an Ashen's ripoff. But that's one of the types of videos that I make that I haven't made them in years. That's one of the types of videos on my channel that has been seeing an uptick in activity lately. And it constitutes the majority of the food videos that I have that are part of the non-tech stuff that does better in the algorithms. So, but I think a lot of that has to do with stylistically similar stuff being recommended by the algorithms, because it's a move that these platforms have to try and keep you, the viewer, watching, even if a lot of the people you watch are no longer making videos or streaming. The way it works is this algorithm technology needs to be used essentially to introduce your audience as a content creator to your replacements. So if something happens to you, or you quit streaming, or you quit making videos or whatnot, there's still people to watch, and these people that used to watch you have someone else to watch. So that way they keep watching anyone on the platform, and YouTube keeps getting watch time and serving ads and CPMs and things along those lines. So Twitch does this too. I've been algorithmically introduced to lots of stylistically similar streamers, sometimes with the weirdest things in common between them. Like, for example, Yummy2 is a Korean streamer, KIRL, who I think I was introduced to because her voice is very similar to Yugi's. So It's weird little details like that. Watch one kind of streamer long enough, the algorithm will recommend people with eerily similar stylistic differences, as though the algorithms on Twitch have been listening to too much Weird Al or something. So there's an entire system out there on these platforms that wants to introduce your audience as a content creator to your replacements. And on YouTube in particular, I started out watching Harris Heller and Devin Nash because I knew them from the discussions they had on Twitch. The algorithms introduced me to Ashney Christ, Big E, Eagle Garrett, and other people who talk about this meta, the multimedia meta. Same thing with Nick Nimmin and people who talk about things from the YouTube side that aren't Twitch streamers trying to carve out a YouTube presence or anything of that sort. So the algorithms are nothing to mess with. So anybody who's stylistically similar, so Twitch clip channels that are independent and not influenced by the streamers, once enough of them become popular, it's going to be a gigantic Streisand for all these streamers, because it's going to be a giant game of whack-a-mole if people are getting their channels demonetized and they're just, okay, well, just start another one. So eventually you have all of these Twitch clip channels with haha funniest Twitch moments, and they're all over the place. The algorithm is giving them all views, and people are watching them because they're looking for Twitch clips on YouTube. And so LSF might have been controllable by streamers if they had that direct line through Discord, but LSF is going to be out LSF'd by these clip channels. This is the sort of thing where these streamers really, they got to figure out what to do about this, because the Streisand effect is very real. And this ties into the whole situation with Ginny and the whole Kiara thing. The clips, even if they all delete their VODs at this point, the clips are already going around that independent clip channel circuit. So unless these streamers and their mods and anybody else who can speak for them, or whatever, if the mods even can, unless these people want to play YouTube whack-a-mole, the cat's out of the bag. So the choices that Ginny has to make to get out of this situation that she's in, she needs to get better at some things she's really bad at. One of them is being a smartass to certain things that her audience does. I know she's capable of telling her chat to F off when they cross a line, and she has kind of, done the whole sarcastic, cynical humor before, but any more of this stuff that goes around and people are making rumors and starting conspiracy sites about her and stuff, she's got to learn how to make that into a joke. That's the next step for her. Keep in mind, she's only been streaming for a couple of years, so not like us old school YouTubers who actually have gray hair and stuff. She's very much a sophomore when it comes to being a content creator. Sophomore, the etymology of the word is wise fool in Greek. It means you know some things, but there's also things you don't know. And in her case, she's successful with thousands of concurrents on Twitch. She definitely knows a few things from a couple of years of streaming at that level, but the things she doesn't know very well yet are what's causing the problems. And so you can say that she's keeping the detective drama at arm's length so she can apply it to try and get concurrence, but the thing is, it's just a turbulent cycle with her now. Before all of this Kiara stuff happened, yesterday I tuned away from her stream and watched Yugi instead, because she was snapping at her chat because there were people making a big deal in her chat about the fact that she changed her profile picture for the first time in years. Wow, such a huge thing. I know, these are people on the internet. These are people on the internet that are getting obsessed at really stupid stuff, right? Gee, sounds like the internet. People get obsessed about stupid stuff on the internet. It's something you will run into and stuff, so you might as well have some fun with it. If I was her, I'd be a total smartass and make some really crazy profile picture for April Fool's Day, which is coming up in about a week or so. 22nd right now? A week from Thursday. So, she could totally mess with people in large numbers by making some kind of cynical joke out of this whole profile picture thing, but instead she got upset about it and snapped at her audience about it. And once again, content creator baggage. If I have to choose between watching someone who's snapping at their audience and getting mad and upset and someone who's having fun, guess who I'm watching? Because you know what? I put up with enough antagonism from the offline world, the local neighborhood, people making noise in the neighborhood, folks at the 9-to-5 getting antagonistic. When I'm coming home from work, I want to be done with all that stuff. And if I run into people doing this stuff on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram, wherever, see ya! And I, once again, am the low-hanging fruit. I'm telling you that I do this. For every one of me, there are plenty of people out there on the information superhighway who will do this without saying anything, and you will not know that they're doing it except that they're not there. There you go. So, you can technically say this whole drama at arm's length thing would apply to the situation with Ginny, but Ginny needs to make some big choices. She needs to make some big choices. She's not the reason we're having this discussion. And quite frankly, I've said all I need to say on this whole mess that she's going through. She needs to learn to take lessons from Mizkif. She needs to learn how to she needs to learn a bit more about being a smartass to larger things besides people memeing in her chat. This is the sort of thing she could turn into some kind of running joke and be like, really, people on the internet? If she doesn't make these choices, if she doesn't make these moves, what's going to happen is this whole drama is going to upset her so much that it defines her. Just like what happened with the Discord call. Just like, and even the little things are going to add up, like being upset at your chat because they're going wild because you changed your profile picture. Give me a break. So it's going to define her. It's going to stop her, whatever growth. It's going to stop her growth and maybe, take the numbers into the red because people are going to get upset about it and leave. And it's also going to cause problems for her friends, too. I think it's time for her friends to find their own voices and not be like, we have this popular friend with 4 times the viewers that we do. Let's collab with them because we're friends. Number one, I look at, the collabs and everything and how they affect things. And I'm not seeing the jump that some people might think, oh, if I have a popular friend with a lot of concurrence, that means I can get viewers just by collabing with them. If your audiences already know each other, they've already decided who they're going to watch if 2 people are online at the same time. So, if 2 people are live at the same time, people have already chosen who they're going to watch. So we can can that discussion right there. People have already decided. It's over. So it has to be a really wild collab or something where people are actually getting introduced to each other in order for this to really be that big of a thing. So I wrote that smart-ass tweet, but Ginny's not the reason why I wrote it. You can apply it to the situation, but that whole thing is little league compared to the incident that I heard about. That's the reason why we're talking about this. And the reason why we're going to bring up some stuff that used to be something I saw on the internet on a very regular basis that I don't see anymore. There's a very specific phrase that I've seen people use on forums that I'm not really seeing anymore. And because of this, I think we need to really think about this here. So parasocial relationships. Let's get into the meat of all of this. Parasocial relationships. A lot of people talk about them from the perspective of, the viewers, they can't be forming parasocial relationships with streamers and YouTubers. Well, guess what? If you flip this in reverse, it's just as important. Someone making YouTube videos or streaming needs to remember that the internet is not a replacement for having friends. Being able to stream, even if you enjoy streaming IRL, is not a replacement for going out and having fun on your own without rolling cameras everywhere. And most importantly, even if you have a fan base, I talk about audience and fan base, but even if you have a very passionate fan base, they are not the same as your friends. Why? Because there are some very important distinctions with online media versus the rest of our lives. So, one of those distinctions is that people can second guess literally everything you do because you're a content creator. It's not overanalyzing. It's not starting drama. It's not creating false rumors. It's people being people, and something that comes with the turf because you are making content. Because people know that you're a content creator, this is automatically on the table. What am I talking about? I'm talking about something I used to see a lot. It's a phrase I used to see on forums and, other sites around the internet. I have to Google search for it nowadays. I don't know where it went, but it's still quite a valid idea. One of the problems with the internet and its progression over the last 30 years, it's old enough to have done that. Actually, no, almost 30 years. 25 years, we'll go with that. Mid-1990s. One of the problems with the internet and its development in the last 25 years, I'll get this right at some point, is that people lose their skepticism of the internet. It used to be the case in the HTML internet days in the 90s that if you did too much on the internet, people would think you weren't really doing research. And people would say, hey, don't believe everything that you see on the internet because everybody can have a website. The internet makes everyone look equal, even if they're selling snake oil or proposing bad ideas or discredited ideas. All people have to do is make a website. And they have a platform. That's it. However, in today's world, this skepticism towards stuff you see on the internet has gone away because the internet has gone mainstream and it's pretty much everywhere. Got on your phones, TVs, probably have the internet on your microwave if you have the right microwave in this Internet of Things era that we live in. But at the very same time, because of this lack of skepticism, we have a situation on our hands where people aren't skeptical enough about the relationships they have with their audience or their fans, things like that. And the reverse is true as well. Anybody who actually is still skeptical can play this card with literally everything you do as a content creator because you're a content creator. Let's talk about that phrase that I've been making references to, but I haven't actually said yet. I used to see this phrase all the time on forums and stuff. This has to be a Poe. P-O-E. Like Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know if this is a reference to the ghosts in Ocarina of Time, or if it has ever been a reference to the ghosts in Ocarina of Time. But what this has to be a Poe means is this must be fake. This has to be satire. There is no way this is real. There's no way this is really going on. It is someone second-guessing something on the internet because, it's got to be something to just drum up publicity. There is no way this is real. I can actually search for this phrase right now, and I'm going to see it in lots of outrageous search results. Let's do that. This has to be a Poe. Forget Google. We're going to Bing. All right, so I got something from wrong browser. All right, let's just go to Google. Oh, my search term from when I looked at it earlier is still there. Yep. There is no way they were this stupid. Please tell me you're a parody. It's amazing. Let's see. Facebook, da-da-da-da-da. This is beyond ridiculous. Do I got some bugs in here? Yes, I do. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Facepalm, blah, 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 blah. Whole bunch of internet stuff. And people are saying this has to be satire. There's no way this is real. So, because people can do that, people can second guess Literally everything. So how does this apply to content creators? What's the big deal with content creators and this has to be fake? Sometimes I talk about keeping drama at arm's length. So we know about the Streisand effect. We know that you can try to keep something under wraps, but the internet will not let that happen. We know it happens. We know people. It's named after an incident with Barbara Streisand and stuff, but I don't think creators are as completely in the dark in most cases. A lot of people think that they are. I don't think creators are in the dark as much as people think they are. I got a feeling out there that there's some people out there that are playing the whole Streisand thing because it can drum up the amount of followers they have, because it's more exciting to have it look like they can't keep the lid on something that they want to keep the lid on. I wouldn't be surprised if there's creators out there that have figured this out, and so they look like they're inept at managing what people say about them, specifically because they know there's no such thing as bad publicity, and they think of something like this. So I think there's people out there that are having some fun with this. They're just not going to tell anybody. So, and I can say that, and I can second guess that because it comes with the turf. So let's take drama, for example. I mentioned that the whole situation with Ginny Chiara was not why I wrote that smart-ass tweet about streamers keeping drama that's been well Streisanded at arm's length so they can play it to get concurrence on demand. There's a huge thing going on right now with e-girls, as they're called. So people on Twitch, they look pretty on camera, and that's why people watch them. They're good looking. The epitome of the photogenic nature of visual media. Just like people will watch pretty people on TV, people will watch pretty people on the internet. Duh. And yet there's an entire crowd on Twitch that acts like this is some wild new thing that the world has never seen before. Oh, look, pretty girls can get audiences on Twitch. Woo! Never seen that before. Reality shows, MTV, television, blah, 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 blah. Literally, movies, 50 years of television, and even more years of silver screen movies before then. If there's been visual media, even if it's black and white TV, if there has been visual media, good-looking people are able to do well on it. Comes with the turf. And yet there's this thing going on right now where Indie Fox and some other folks are, she's stealing my style. Let's look at this thing here. This is the big one, because I'm just like, what? Every so often I tune into some of these folks because they can be funny sometimes, or their chat can be funny. See them, they like flop over it, they're like lying in bed or something talking to people, and they'll like flop or something, and people will say weird stuff in chat. I mean, it's, some of these people actually can be pretty funny sometimes. But here's the thing. Every so often I tune in, but it's not really the thing I focus on the most because it's something I've been seeing for years. Going all the way back to high school, I've never been the kind of person to just close the book on someone's good looking. Now, there's got to be more to that, because, I mean, I've been seeing good-looking people for decades. I've been seeing good-looking people, because, if it's not some visual media like this, it's got to be offline. You're going to go to the store, there'll be someone who's good-looking, in the checkout line at the supermarket, da-da-da. You're just going to have to get used to the fact that there's good-looking people in this world. You will encounter them because they're human beings just like you. So they're going to be going out and doing stuff that human beings do, like shopping or walking in the park or going to the beach or whatever. It just comes with the turf. At some point, you grow up a little and you get over the fact that, wow, somebody's good-looking. Yeah, because that stops being a thing. You're like, oh, look, they look nice. But that stops being the be-all, end-all of the whole thing you focus on. And so you start looking for people that are good-looking, and maybe they're doing something else. Maybe they're good at playing sports or playing video games or something along those lines. It's just, you eventually hit a situation where looks are not enough. So You know, it's just a thing where you've seen so many good looks that eventually it's at a point where it's good looks versus good looks plus something else. You go with the good looks plus something else. Even if in the process of having plus something else, they don't emphasize their good looks as much. So I tune in every so often to these streamers usually and stuff like that, but to see this kind of drama, oh man. You know, I talk about Twitch streamers not having the same amount of experience as YouTubers. This is one of the reasons why. Let's read this. Another streamer copied my stream verbatim. My changing outfits, my overlays, my stream titles, even outfit styles. It's disturbing. It makes me sick to my stomach that someone is stealing my creativity because they have no ideas of their own. They pretended to be my friend only to do what I do. Holy crap, this person has lots of money. They already do really, really well. They have lots of followers. Why'd they have to copy me? That's the gist of it. You can dig around Twitter to get the exact thing that's being passed around. So, I just read this, and I'm like, let's continue here. I'm gonna go to daytime and mess up their numbers. I normally stream at night. I'm gonna start streaming in the day. All right. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with this whole thing. Welcome, Indie Fox, to something that's been a problem on YouTube for years. This is me being a multimedia nerd once again. There's a long-running problem on YouTube where small channels will do something like a video or something that does well. A big channel notices, they all but pastiche the living daylights out of it. They essentially copy what the small channel did without giving them credit. Small channel finds out, raises a stink about it. They ripped me off. They plagiarized me. Big channel DMCA's them. It's a thing that's been going on YouTube for years. I've seen vlogs where people complain about it for years and they got a false strike or something because they did something, started being successful because of it. Big channel copied them. If they tried confronting the big channel for copying them, big channel abused the system. So it's nothing new. It's just one of those things where you get old, you start having seen stuff before. Oh, look, gray hair, whatever. You get old, you start having seen things before. And so I got a nice little chuckle out of this whole thing with, this whole e-girl dispute. Because this whole e-girl dispute thing, I was cracking up because this stuff has been on YouTube for a long time. And so here it is happening with Twitch streamers. Once again, something's going on Twitch that already happened on YouTube many years ago. Woo! We've totally seen this before. Again. Well, let's be a nerd and let's check the numbers. So, I think the dispute is between Indie Fox and Amaranth. So, let's see, March 22nd. I'm using Twitch Tracker for this because Sully Gnome had some issues with data collection. So, I'm actually looking at Twitch Tracker now. It has some nice numbers too. There's even clips and stuff that are part of the UI, so you can see like clips that are pertinent to the concurrent count as it goes up and down and stuff like that. So let me just look at okay, so you can also set it to your local time zone. Not everything's in Greenwich time or UTC or whatever. So I was like, okay, she wanted to go to days and she wanted to take a dent out of the other streamers' concurrence. Did she do that? Stream from my time 2030 to 2330. Not really. Because the drop-off that was going to happen already happened by the drop-off, whatever caused the drop-off, already happened by 2030. And all Amaranth had to do to regain viewers just change categories to ASMR. So, we're gonna show up, we're gonna do stuff to our numbers, da-da-da. Just chatting, pool stream. Okay, she just changed it to ASMR. It's kind of funny just seeing this in the Twitch tracker things. We'll have to see what happens with these numbers, but... Alright, so here's the thing. Drama, this reminds me of... I used to see this stuff back in high school, for Pete's sake. When the good-looking people who liked the attention would start disputes with each other for the purposes of getting more eyes on them. So there'd always be, you know, some rivalry or some kind of this person doesn't like that person, blah, 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 blah. This is all stuff that I've seen before. Just a long, long time ago in a very, very different context than online media. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. So there's a buzz on Twitter about these, you know, these e-girl streamers who are upset. You know, so-and-so copied my style. But wait, didn't she copy me? There's all this stuff that's going on. And I'm over here like, what if this is all just a giant publicity stunt? It would not surprise me if it was. What if this is all a giant publicity stunt? So, all right, so I know that it's something with Amaranth and Indie Fox. So here's what's been going on with those two. Amaranth, I've watched her numbers. Devin Nash has watched her numbers too. She really gets into the Twitch grinding thing. She is wild at streaming for long hours. Sometimes she gets concurrent, sometimes she doesn't. Depends how many thousands or whatnot, etc. But you can't say that she really knows how to stream for long hours at a time. She really knows how to put in the time. Indie is trying to actually grow and stuff like that. So it's more, Indie is trying to grow in this space because she was a music streamer for years, and then just, I don't know what the deal was. It made her want to do all of this look pretty on camera stuff, but she's doing it. And she's benefited from controversy, like bans and stuff on Twitch and things like that. So classic thing that people associate with LSF, but I think will happen with lots of other places as well, is a little bit of buzz, a little bit of controversy serves as publicity. So, you know, if you be a little bit of a badass, you can benefit from that to an extent. But you have somebody who is already established with long hours of streaming, plenty of time for their audience to watch. You have somebody else trying to grow in the space. They both have a compelling reason to drum up some buzz. So I'm just being Mr. Nerd off in the corner here, analyzing things maybe a little too much. But the reason I can do that is because these are streamers we're talking about. These are people on Twitch. These are Twitch streamers we're talking about. Twitch, with such a huge emphasis on live streaming, as opposed to evergreen stuff like videos, tends to get people thinking about streaming in terms of streaming a lot. Sometimes to unhealthy levels, which is why there's some talk of work-life balance, but I haven't really seen much for follow-through. Because the ultimate work-life balance of being a streamer is to stream less and make more videos. That's my YouTube influence kicking in. Whatever. So it's tempting indeed for a lot of these people on Twitch to think, oh yeah, let's stream a lot and get a huge audience. And there is some element of being available because you're live a lot of the time helps with people not having to watch you in such a narrow space, like me with my 2-hour radio show style streams here. So you have all this and whatnot. But the thing is, part of being a content creator is getting people to watch what it is you're doing, because that's a thing. Because that's a thing, people can technically second guess literally everything you do on camera as some kind of publicity stunt. So it's not hard at all to think, oh, these two seem to be these two seem to be upset. Oh, is it really? How about that's just what's on Twitter, and this is all just a way to drum up buzz, because there's no such thing as bad publicity. Somebody, am I really the lone nerd in the universe who's thinking of this right now? And some of that's from hard experience. Take, for example, the early days of YouTube with Lonely Girl 15. Looked like some girl vlogging in her room as a teenager, and she had a boyfriend and some friends, da-da-da. They start YouTube channels too. Look, they're getting into the YouTube scene just like so many other people. Oops, it's a show. And the girl is actually an Australian actress. and it's scripted. It is made to look like a bunch of video blogs, but it's actually a show series. Whoops. Very early example of what's called cognitive dissonance. Difference between what you thought was going on and what was really going on. Your internal beliefs and your external reality. Psychology term. It's that weird, it's the thing that powers things like buyer's remorse and stuff. It's that weird thing. It's that weird feeling you get when something just isn't quite the way you thought it would be. So, it's just, or you feel like, you know, things haven't been quite the way you thought they'd be either. So, yeah. But it comes with the turf as a content creator. Literally anything you do can be second guessed as some kind of publicity stunt. Literally. And that's one of the reasons why I mentioned parasocial relationships in the title of the stream, because creators have these problems too. Because you can be second guessed like this, you still need to have real friends and an offline life. It can't just be about the people on the internet, because the people on the internet are in a position to second guess everything you do because they know that you're a content creator. You're trying to get people to watch your stuff. So, oh, some big thing happens. You have some giant meltdown. Oh, look, there's a lot of people that are being sympathetic and they're donoing to you because you just had a giant meltdown on stream. Okay. Do we know for a fact that you really were upset and you weren't just farming for stuff? Sometimes people get outed too as having just been farming for publicity or to get sent to LSF or something. Now, we mentioned the Ginny Kiara thing earlier. There's a rather infamous incident that I remember from months ago at this point. Kiara said, "Hey, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. I'll be right back," in the middle of her stream. And it sounded like she forgot to turn her microphone off and did some huge number two. Someone on the internet, as usual, internet people with way too much free time on their hands will do this. Someone on the internet found out and found the YouTube video of 10 hours of diarrhea sounds. Yes, that's a thing on YouTube. We shouldn't be surprised by it. There's all kinds of stuff on YouTube, even the most bizarre stuff that you wouldn't think would be on YouTube. It's there. I mean, just this past weekend, just for the heck of it, I looked for microphone feedback on YouTube, and I found a 10-hour video of literally nothing but microphone feedback, and a 10-hour video of somebody blowing into the microphone. Just, but my filter cuts that out. If you can imagine someone blowing into a microphone for 10 hours and that being a YouTube video because it loops over and over and over again, it exists. Just got to type in the right stuff to find it. What happened was, I think it was someone on LSF that found the exact YouTube video that she left playing to make it look like, you know, she forgot to turn her microphone off, but that wasn't really the case. So this is the thing, you know, it's the internet, man. As somebody who watches content creators, you are in a position to literally second guess everything they do. And as a content creator, everybody tuning in is literally in a position to second guess everything you do. Because there's been so much stuff out there, like the Lonely Girl thing, like all these people who went wild and crazy in video blogs. And then when they got confronted on it, they say, "Oh, I'm just playing a character." There's been so much blurring the lines between the internet and reality because of this parasocial stuff, that an audience of any content creator is in a position to be able to second guess literally everything they do in their videos, in their social media posts, on camera, on the internet, anywhere, as some kind of publicity stunt. And so because of this, your audience cannot, even your fan base cannot be your friend, because they always have that thing in the back of their head. You need to get away from all of this trying to grow as a content creator, or trying to get people to watch your stuff, and be able to have friends who are there when the cameras aren't rolling. You know, the way life is without all this internet stuff, because they're the only people that aren't in this position. You can have the most loyal moderators or whatever in the world on your Discord or what have you, but because they're just watching you, they're in a position to second guess literally everything you do because you're a content creator, you're trying to get people to watch. How do they know that that thing you did on stream wasn't some kind of publicity stunt? Yeah, that's the world we live in. You got to know where to draw your boundaries, especially with this kind of stuff. You got to know what's off limits. You got to know where the line is drawn. And in the case of this type of stuff, the line is drawn with you need real friends. The internet is not a replacement for having real friends. It's not a replacement for having free time. It's not a replacement for having fun without making it into a YouTube video or a Twitch stream or whatever. I'd even dare say that being a streamer and streaming video games, even if you're successful at it, is not a replacement for playing those video games the normal way. I can tell you that. Number one, streaming video games, you have to sit at attention because you have to be on camera, and you know, part of what you do is your thing down in the corner so people want to see your reactions to stuff. So in my case, my gaming setup here is not made for me to stream. It's made for me to put my feet up, lean back in the chair, and everything is at exactly the right height so I don't scrunch my wrist and put myself at risk of carpal tunnel by leaning back in the chair and playing video games. Everything's at the angle. I've had it designed this way for years. So, to avoid repetitive stress injuries from too much computer use. So, besides ergonomic peripherals and stuff, I can lean back in the chair, put my feet up, and just look up at the TV, which is huge. It's not like, say, I have a little monitor or anything that I have to scrunch and see in order for it to be 1080 or 1440p or something. Big 37-inch TV. Matter of fact, one of the things I'm looking at for whenever this TV finishes cooking itself is whether I can get speaker stands and monitor stands to get something bigger that I can lean back and be further away from and still have some desk space. That's a whole nother project. Whole nother use for stimulus money. Or something like that. But I can tell you that just playing video games, it would not be healthy for me to stream all my video games. I need to play the games the normal way. I dare say that I should not go through my initial experience of these games on stream, because I've spent decades as a gamer playing through these games and enjoying them and, you know, making progress in them, to the point where I don't want chat backseat gaming or stuff like that. You know, and if I want to experience like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt or something like that for the first time, or something like that, just do it. Not everything needs to be monetized in life. Not everything needs to be on YouTube. Not everything needs to be a stream. Just experience it, because, you know, no matter what I am, multimedia nerd, useful guy in the local area with helping with technology, or being able to handle the computery side of what's in the industrial parks, no matter what I am still myself. I still need to have fun. I still need to, you know, be a gamer, because that's the way I've been for decades. You know, this whole streaming thing is not even a spring chicken as far as I'm concerned. It's an egg. Even the recent success of Twitch over the last couple of years, it's a joke compared to the years that I've spent playing video games on my own without any cameras rolling or any kind of streaming going on. So, and that's one of the things I run into with ESO as well, is that I find ESO going through the quests is dull, because ESO has Oblivion's dialogue model where the person just stands there and blabbers away, and you want to listen to the voiceover and stuff, but it drags the heck out of the stream. So a lot of what I've been doing on stream is actually progression that I want to do that's not really specific to the game. So stuff I think up, like progressing characters, trying builds, working on player housing, but not sitting there waiting for blah blah voice acted lines because I'm just questing on stream. That I tried that, it was rubbish. So none of that, or very little of it. Focus more on the other stuff, like creating my own fun. Same if I was playing GTA. Not so much, you know, let's play this, that, or the other. I might do that with Morrowind, though. One of the things I want to do with play some stuff is I played Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim in their day, but I can never beat them without mods. So I want a set of save games that have a completed game and that I can add mods and archive the save game somewhere. So I got to play through Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and Skyrim Special Edition vanilla with no add-ons, and then save the save game somewhere so I can mess around with mods and stuff. It's one of the things I want to do on stream. But I played and beat all those games before. So, it's the world we live in, folks. It's the world we live in. Yeah. Content creators have parasocial issues. They will have parasocial issues. But the big one to remember is that this internet stuff that you're doing is not a replacement for still having a life. In the case of the Ginny situation with her subathon, and she went on a nice cute trip with her mom. Her family's really cool, by the way. Her parents are the really good sports. I tell you, her parents handle the whole she's doing stuff on the internet in front of a camera thing way better than mine would. My folks, if I showed up and I was streaming at the house I grew up in, they'd kick me off the property in 2 seconds flat because they don't click at all with this stuff. Yeah, generation gap, whatever, we're retired, just leave us alone. I don't even think I could record a YouTube video, even if I frame the heck out of it to not give away where the house is or anything. I don't even think I could make a YouTube video on the property. Made a Facebook video before, though, but that was just family and friends. But I don't think I could do what I do in the house I grew up in. Not that I want to anyways, because after I got out on my own, my room got repainted to like hot pink for some reason. I don't know why. My stepmother likes the color. It's now my dad's computer room. But the room I grew up in was neutral white. You know, I still got some pictures. I got a picture, I think, that I could dig up from when I got my keyboard in 1998. Christmas 98. Still works 20 plus years later. It's a little outdated. I got to get some MIDI boxes and stuff to actually have a viable music setup and do music streaming, but it still works. So tempted to replace it, but I just don't want to spend money and then figure out what to do with this old one. It's a Casio WK1250 from the late 1990s. A MIDI box can bring it up to speed with sounds. Just got to get something like a sound setup or something. That's one of the reasons I have the mixer I bought last year and stuff like that. Either way. Nothing else in the chat? All right. Well, I think that basically wraps. That's a wrap in terms of this conduct. What? Content? What am I? Some kind of like these people in these YouTube videos that can't stop saying content when talking about people making videos or streaming? Whatever. That's it, though. So parasocial relationships are not just a viewer to streamer thing. They're also a streamer to viewer thing. They're not just a viewer to YouTuber thing. They're a YouTuber to viewer thing. And one of the big things to remember is that the internet does not replace the need to have a life, to have free time, to shut the cameras off and go do some things. So, back to the Ginny thing with her parents. She took that trip with her mom. That was nice. She did a giant subathon. You know, her parents are really cool people. That does not replace maybe a mother-daughter trip that doesn't have cameras rolling every which way. It's not going to be the same. She may be so used to IRL streaming all over the place, but it's part of taking care of yourself to be able to unplug. I remind myself of this a lot. Whenever I'm in the middle of something and I'm just so like, oh, I want to get this done. And I'm like, I'm at home. It's the weekend. Heck with it. Yes, I'm another guy with one of those to-do lists that infamously never gets done. But sometimes, shut all this crap off. Go outside, put a chair down in the backyard. Nice sunny day, warm day outside. Just sit outside and listen to the wind in the trees. Nothing's going on. Nothing constructive. No smartphone. No push notifications. Zilch. And you find that it's the most relaxing thing you do all day. Because we get so wrapped up in this desire to make the most of our time. Sometimes, you know, we just gotta not do anything constructive or anything that will advance us. Because we just gotta relax. That's what I did this past weekend, by the way. I could have streamed. Could have done some video game streaming. Could have done this kind of stuff. I didn't. I just kicked back, relaxed, caught up on YouTube videos I've been meaning to watch, streamers I've been meaning to catch the VODs of, on Monitor 2. That thing. I caught up on all this stuff, and I had a darn good time. Found the AC adapter to the heat massage thing I can throw on the chair, heat up my back, massage my back while playing video games. I've been missing that thing for months. I say, oh, you know what? I bought all those Epsom salt things where you fire up the tub and you soak in the tub to relax. Why do I need to keep buying those things when I know I have a heat massager thing in the house that I'm not making use of? Yeah, stupid. Duh. Found the AC adapter. Didn't make a YouTube video about it. Didn't stream about it. Just did it. I gotta do that stuff more often, man. That's the thing. We talk about parasocial relationships, but the parasocial relationship we need to talk about even more is our parasocial relationship with this internet stuff. It's not the same as having real friends, not the same as having times where you just relax. And in some cases, if you are streaming all weekend, it's not the same as having a freaking weekend. Because there's some expectations that your audience and your fan base is looking for when you go live that you have to abide by. There really is no, oh, whatever, I can do whatever I want. Woohoo! There really isn't that. So, something to keep in mind. So keep it in mind. This is the last multimedia meta topic that I really think I need to talk about in the stream. Can make videos for the other stuff, but you know what? I've got this stuff sitting around. I think I best do something with it. Decide what's going to be in a video, what's not going to be in a video. The microphone experiment definitely needs to be a video. Figuring out how the YouTube videos are going to overcome their current deficiencies needs to be a video. And I've been reminded, by the way, as I've poked around YouTube recently, that I say that Twitch streamers are responsible for the worst part of my experience with online media, and they often are. The drama, well, they're only cables. The drama, the inexperience, the naivete, the wondering whether it's all a giant publicity stunt like what we talked about tonight. And then I go over to YouTube and I see topical videos. Now I see on the news that Connecticut might have periodic cicadas or something later this spring, and the trees will get really noisy because these are insects that live underground for like 17 years and they come out and they mate and then that's it. Which would, I think a lot of us would agree, would suck if you lived in the dirt until you were a teenager, then, slept once with someone and you died. It's just like, oh man. Yeah, some species in nature like these cicadas, I don't understand. No, but they exist and they're a thing. Evolution somehow has made them do what they do. I posted some videos on the blog about that, some of whom have a couple of years on them from the last time we had a situation where a spring might get a little noisy and the videos were trending on YouTube. But hey, YouTube is one of the things I like about YouTube the most, despite all the issues of the last several years, is that YouTube can still be that place where you just poke around from video to video and just go on a wild algorithmic tour day video of topical videos that people put a lot of passion into and make look really well. And it doesn't have to be about the person making the video. It doesn't have to be about whatever they're dealing with. It doesn't have to be about whatever the drama of the week is. It can just be about stuff, no matter when it was recorded. And that is one of the coolest things about YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. So keep this in mind. Content creators can have parasocial issues too. And the internet is not a replacement for knowing when to relax. This is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.